Good morning. We're here at the Holiday Inn North Beach for their annual health fair, and I have the pleasure of meeting Allison of Jazzercise of Lynn Haven. Today, she's going to be with us as we do one of our spinal screenings. So we post a lot about the health screenings that we provide, but rarely have we had the opportunity to show you what we do. So come along. Okay. So Allison, have you ever been to a chiropractor before?
No, I've never been to one.
Okay. Well then really quickly, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what chiropractors do. So most people understand that chiropractors work a lot with the back, and they're absolutely right. But it's actually a lot more far-reaching than that. So chiropractors can work with any joint in your body, your elbows, your knees, your hips, anything like that. But they spend most of their time on your spine because of the effect it has on your nervous system. So when you look at your spine, you have 24 bones that are stacked on top of each other. In between are these discs that act like little cushions and like little shock absorbers. There's small spacers there between the bones, and it helps the nerves exit on every single level, okay? We'll talk more about that in a second. When you look at any joint in the body, the only way that it stays healthy is when it moves and when it moves properly. That's very important. When that doesn't happen, the joint is going to start to degenerate and become arthritic. And that's not just for your spine. So if you took your elbow and you did an x-ray of it, and it was a perfect elbow, you have beautiful elbows by the way, and if they took that x-ray and it looked great, put a cast on your arm and then left it there for 3 months, when they take that cast off, you're gonna have arthritis to start to build up. You would think it would be protected, so there would be no arthritis, but that's not true. Joints only stay healthy in response to proper movement. When you look at your spine, it's jointed together in the back. And these joints are no different than that elbow joint. It has to be able to move properly in order to stay healthy. So when you look at the spine, it's made to move, but if it shifts out of alignment, then that's going to cause a couple of different issues. One, it's going to not move properly, which is going to start arthritis in your spine. But number two, it's also going to decrease the disc space in between, like this model has shown. These discs only stay healthy when the bones move properly, okay? And that's where you can see if that starts to happen, there's a compression there in the spine. The reason why this is so important above and beyond the biomechanics of the body is the nervous system. You have your spinal cord that comes down through the bones of the spine and nerves that exit on every single level. Obviously, you can see that if there's a shift in the spine, that can put pressure on a nerve, but if there's a compression in the spine due to degenerative changes, that's gonna put infinite amount of pressure on the spine. Now, most people think that if they had a spinal problem, that they would know it, that they would feel it, but less than 10% of the nervous system feels anything. And we can talk about that more if you have questions towards the end. This scan today, what we're gonna do is scan your neck and see if there's any pressure on the nerves that exit the neck and go up into the head, as well as go down into the arms. In our office, we do full spine, but we're not gonna have you get undressed here, okay?
Okay.
Very simple. Okay, go ahead and look down for me. Perfect. So this is not going to show pain. It's going to show nervous system function. Go ahead and look forward. Now your nervous system controls and coordinates every other system in your body. So your nervous system controls and coordinates your respiratory system, your digestive system, your reproductive system, and your immune system, things like that. So we want to make sure that our nervous system is functioning properly. Now I'm going to save this. Okay, so what you want to see is a small white bar about that size. Okay. That small white bar means that the scan is working. When you see them get a little bit longer there, they're still okay if they're white, but it can mean that there's a little bit of irritation in that area. You see that a lot whenever there's misalignments kind of surrounding that. As you go into green, that means that you have a misalignment in that area. It can then tear up to blue, and it can tear up to red. Green means you have a problem, blue means that it's been there for quite some time, and red means that you have quite a bit of pressure in these areas, okay? Again, that doesn't mean that you feel it, all right? That's the thing that you have to keep in mind. You can, if you told me, yes, I have neck pain, it wouldn't surprise me, but it doesn't mean that you do. Some of the other things that you see with this scan is with the nerves that exit, out of the neck and go up into the head and down to the arms, you can see things like headaches, migraines, a decreased immune system. You can see more of an inclination towards anxiety or depression. Doesn't mean that you have all those things, but you can. A lot of people suffer from insomnia who have that. If that goes on, then that's going to move into more of a dizziness and vertigo kind of thing too. Your immune system function has a lot to do with the nerves that exit in C1, C2, and C3. And so that's something that you definitely want to keep in mind.
Okay.
What questions do you have so far?
Well, it's really interesting because I don't have any neck pain at all.
Which is good.
Yeah, and so I'm surprised to see the red, and I'd like to follow up with it to figure out how I can make those areas better.
Yeah, definitely. Well, what chiropractors do and why we spend so much time explaining how the spine works is they work to remove pressure off of the nerve so that the nerve can do its job. The nerves that exit off the spinal cord, that's the only way that the brain and body can communicate. When there's pressure on that nerve, it's like stepping on a garden hose. It decreases the amount of information to and from the body, and that's where you have functional issues, okay? So this isn't just pain-based, although that's a good reason to come in if someone does have pain. It's really function-based.